I wanted to be a fighter pilot. I studied science, but I did not want to be a engineer. I didn't even know ki at that time what was I thinking? I had no idea what would I even do. I was 21 when I was leading a team of 30 people, or all older than I was. Pretty much, I think I'm still learning every single day. We all are, right? And now I'm standing at that stage. If I can do it, then anyone can. Number one thing that has helped me is being.
All I can say about this guest is that he's such a good human being that the entire podcast didn't even feel like a podcast. So, with a lot of respect and humbleness in my heart, please welcome Varun Rawal. Thank you so much, Varun, and welcome to my podcast, Dream with Neeraj. And it's an absolute pleasure. I'm looking forward to having a conversation with you because it's always fun interacting with you and seeing you smile. And you started with Oberoi's in Jaipur, I think. So, if you can elaborate on the journey, that how has this been going on for you?
Okay, so hospitality was accidental, right?
Okay.
So because I had no idea what else to do, and that's what got me to the industry, to be honest. Because my parents, again, did not really know what I should do. I wanted to be a fighter pilot,
Oh,
and
I
I
see.
wanted to join the defense services, and that's the reason I studied physics, chemistry, maths when I was in Delhi. But unfortunately, that did not lead to anything because I had glasses. I'm not wearing it right now. But for to be a fighter pilot, you at that time there was no correction even that you could do, even surgery. I mean, that's what my understanding was. It could be wrong, but whatever it was. But I studied science, but I did not want to be a engineer, just like 90% of the people. So
Okay.
fighter pilot thing didn't work out. So what else to do? So I said, I don't know. Then one fine day, a friend reached out saying that, I'm filling in papers for hotel school. Do you want to do that? I said, all right, sure. So that's how it happened. That's how I entered the industry.
Nice, nice, nice. A lot of coincidence pushing you towards the thing that you were sort of being destined to do, right?
Pretty much, because I'll tell you, I've also caught myself talking, or rather saying this, that agar hotel management hi karna tha,
Mhm.
then why did I study physics, chemistry, and mathematics? I could have just studied commerce or arts and just enjoyed my life, right? Why did I
Actually,
study like 12 hours a day?
I get it. I get it. So nowadays, I feel the same thing. Like when I sort of transition into what I'm doing right now, and then you see any engineer meets you, you're like, okay, you were studying so hard, but eventually, if you feel like you don't want to do this, it feels like, अरे arts ही कर लेता हूँ मैं यार. It would have been much easier. It's
Same. Yeah,
even
yeah, yeah.
it's even financially more profitable to do it, right? Like you spend so much in terms of doing engineering, and then there is a fascination of doing MBA after engineering. So मतलब वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा एक्सपेंसिव हो जाता है, एंड देन इफ यू डोंट यूज इट तो इट्स लाइक यार ठीक है यार, सस्ता आर्ट्स भी बहुत है.
Exactly, exactly. And interest, like I had no interest in engineering, right? Uh, I don't know how people did it, but I had no bandwidth. I never thought like मैं engineer बन के करूँगा क्या? So that's what the thought was. Even I honestly, Neeraj, I didn't even know ki at that time what was I thinking? I had no idea what would I even do after hotel management also. It just seemed like the most viable option at the moment. So that's how I pursued it.
Yeah, but I relate to it too much because I'm from an engineering background and then sort of transitioning. I think 90%, even 90s less, 99% of engineers are like, okay, we have done this now, we have a degree, but what now? Like, what do we actually want to do? No, nobody asked ever, like, what's your curiosity in thing, right? It's never in physics, chemistry, or biology, right? It's like you have to do it. It's like an eligibility criteria,
It's true.
but I but I get to it.
Yeah.
Going through that, you became somebody who is understanding people more, who is trying to cater to an audience, getting them and giving them a better experience, looking through your journey, right? So, like, how did dealing with different ethnicities, different countries, changed you as a person?
Okay. Very interesting question. And the whole process started when I was in India, when I was 19-year-old boy, started working in a restaurant, picking up plates, picking up, getting screamed by from random strangers, because that's how it was,
Yes, yes.
right? And that's how it is in a lot of five-star properties, unfortunately, or whatever it is. Fortunately or unfortunately, in my case, it worked, but that's not how
Agree.
I would want things to be continued, right? But that's how the journey was, unfortunately. My shift used to be 18 hours a day, and yeah, just doing normal work what a waiter at a restaurant would do. That was my industrial trainee days at the Oberoi Rajvilas. I still remember, and that was my first interaction with anyone who was not from India, and that's how I started picking up different cultures, different languages, different uh,
Hmm.
mannerisms, and how different people who are not part of my community act and behave. And it just continued from there when I uh, got my first job with ITC Hotels, and started out as a restaurant manager. But during my management training days, this is what we did. We picked up heavy, dirty plates. That was the reality. And I mean, I feel in the moment it sucked, to be honest. And I was dreading, I was like, what the hell am I doing? But I did not know that this experience, or rather that experience, was preparing me to be a better communicator in future, and to understand different cultures and different nuances of how people acted. So yeah, that's how it started, and that's how I grew into knowing people from different nationalities, very from a very fundamental or foundational stage, is what I would say, Neeraj.
Okay, I feel I relate to it very much because any success story that you hear, and it starts with an ironic start in the end, because that ironic start is so much needed. Because if everything is very good and in your comfort zone, you don't grow, right? And then when you face that pain and when you face that adversities, you had the difficulty of understanding, like, why is this person shouting at me? Why is that person not satisfied, or what is he expecting from it? Because when you eventually start doing that questioning to yourself, I feel that's when you evolve as a communicator. Like, when you start asking that why, looking at your journey, I feel that made you reflect upon yourself so hard that you unlocked everything inside you, and you were like, yeah, now let me tell you, like, how it's done. Like, that's what I feel.
Pretty much. I think I'm still learning every single day. We all are, right? But
Yeah.
that was the start, and I'm glad that happened, because a lot of people, now also, I come across as someone who's very calm, even though inside there's a lot of a volcano is erupting or whatever it is, right? But it's just conditioning, right? When someone's screaming, when the entire restaurant is
Yeah.
going to burn, like, not in a literal way, but you have to maintain calm. And especially when you're leading a team. I was 21 when I was leading a team of 30 people, or all older than I was at that time. So you can't lose your
Nice.
cool. And a lot of people ask me, why are you always smiling? I mean, I can't really give a definitive answer for that, but
Definitive answer.
it's just how I'm conditioned over the years, that no matter
Agree.
what happens, the smile has to be there. So
Yeah, but keep smiling, man. Your smile is really really nice, and I feel that I feel whatever you said, because it connects with me a lot, because I feel your energy is very subtle, very calm. When you as we have so I've met Varun in an offline space as well, through Success Gyan, and he even hugged me because we had a small interaction, and it was very nice to be able to actually meet him in the real space. So he has what I get a vibe from you is like a very bro vibe, like, and you have a very subtle energy of you, but I also feel that you're always ready to jump on an opportunity. So you are subtle in energy, but always excited from inside in terms of jumping on something new, because the uncertainty, it doesn't scare you anymore. That's what I feel from your whole journey.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, you are excited for uncertainty because that's how you have become what you are today. Like, that's how things have groomed you. Trying out something that you had no idea about, but it turned in favor of you. So that's the vibe that you give me.
I mean, I'm glad that that's the vibe, because that is the truth. I
Yeah.
mean, I used to be someone who was very scared to even speak out loud. And you know the story, right, Neeraj? We've
Yeah, I
spoken
know.
about
I
it
know.
some time
Yeah.
back, where I come from a family that does not speak any other language other than Punjabi or Hindi. First
Uh,
language being Punjabi, right? So
us,
going
bro.
sorry.
Bro, us. Like we both have a lot of things in common.
Pretty much, right? Yeah, and it becomes a challenge when you are out in the world, and at least especially in our country, where English or spoken English is considered to be a status or a symbol,
Oh,
which
I
is
see.
not. I mean, you can't control it. This is how it is, right? And
Yeah.
I've lived in other countries, so I know in other countries it's not the case, but in our country it is the case.
Yeah.
And that used to be the biggest drawback. At least that's what I used to think. So I used to be very scared. And for someone coming from that life and being uncertain always about now what's going to happen the next day, and I'm talking about when I used to go to the school, what's going to happen when now the teacher will is going to ask me the next difficult question, and I'm going to be the one hidden in the back, right? That was uncertainty. And coming from there to having traveled to multiple countries, interacting with, lived in different countries, and just at the drop of a hat, just taking a flight to a random country and being absolutely confident about the decision that I'm going to make the best out of it, it has
Hmm.
been a journey. And it has been a journey that I'm very, very proud of.
It should be, because I feel the best teacher in life is traveling, and traveling solo. So I feel it teaches you so many things. It unlocks a different version of you. That's what I feel. So if anybody asks me, the first thing that comes in my mind in terms of growth is go alone, man. Actually see who you are, because in a lot of time we are influenced by people, but we don't know that we are being influenced, right? So we take a backstage and we never give ourselves a true chance to shine. And when you actually travel solo, you have to take every decision, you have to act in the moment, you have to be like, it teaches you so many things. It makes you humble, it teaches you different culture, different cuisines. And I feel there is nothing else like traveling in terms of a package equation that grooms you like in very small amount of time. So if you go for solo like 1 week, still you'll come back with something that you didn't knew about yourself.
Very much. So I'll tell you something. When I started traveling, I'm just not going to say it solo. I would just say traveling, because in all honesty, is solo traveling and all these, uh, you know, things that come out of solo traveling, it's become very cool now. कि
Yeah.
भाई solo traveling कर लोगे तो you'll achieve
Backpacking.
nirvana in life, and you'll find yourself, you'll become such a better person, you'll become a better
Yeah.
communicator, which is absolutely true, which is actually
Yes.
true, because solo travel is freaking difficult. It's not hard.
Difficult. It's
No
it's
one talks
difficult. It's
about it.
difficult.
I mean, now influencers talk about it, but
Yeah.
when I started traveling solo, the only reason I used to travel solo is because I had free tickets and no one else had. None of my friends had free tickets.
Correct.
At the same time, I am very particular about what I want to do when I travel solo. I have a few things that I want to be by the beach. I want to go to a beach destination. I want to just chill. I want to have a beer by, like, I love going to Thailand. I love going to Vietnam. And I want to get a massage. I don't want to explore. Maybe some places I want to explore, but I'm very particular about what I want to do on these holidays. And if you bring other people in your on your holidays, then it always becomes a fight. Half of the people want to do something else, half of the people want to do something else, and in between you'll be like, yeah, whatever I wanted to do, that's not happening. I wanted to have
That's
that food. So that was my
so,
reason to
man.
travel solo. Also one of the biggest reasons. But none of these things that are very much out there on social media, that it teaches you lessons. I mean, I've also written about it, I've spoken about it on my podcast, but at that time that was not my intention.
Yeah. 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 So now it's become like a cool now. So it's like, because now people know that it has an opportunity for you to grow as an influencer or a content creator. So the intention is to actually do that, but then you get into habit of it, and then you realize that it's too good to leave. You understand? So
Very much so, yeah.
yeah, and exactly when I was listening to you, I was like, Varun, how much similarity do we have? Because the same reasons that you depicted in terms of solo traveling, because the number one issue that I faced, like initially everybody travels with somebody, right? Your school friends, your college friends, maybe your cousins and everybody. But the point is, when you travel with them, you are getting traveled. You're not traveling where you want to travel, right? Like if you for example, if you go to Delhi and you go to at some place, like you don't want to be in the rush or a huckus, or maybe you just want to go in a restaurant and have some good nakpal ke chole bhature or something, and you just want to come back home, right? Because as a guy who has been born in Mumbai, I love Delhi food, right? But I don't love the chaos.
Yeah.
Okay. And my Delhi cousins would love the chaos. And for them, the food is not that meaningful because they get it 24x7, right? For me, the perspective is it's completely flipped. So if I go there, for them, it's like, Ari, you're not having any fun in Delhi. Like, I am having fun. This is my fun. But,
That's
I
your
relate with
definition
it.
of fun.
Yeah, and the control that you have in terms of you actually getting to learn and to explore, or the purpose of traveling is to give you some sense of calmness, right? Because you're already running in life, you're already trying to pursue something or another. But if you go and somebody else is again taking you like a toy train from one end to another,
I totally relate to that.
yeah. So yeah, a lot in common. It's dangerously a lot in common. So
I mean, that's
yeah.
why
So
we're on this podcast. I would like to believe that, Neeraj.
yes. Now I am thinking that we need to have a trip, but I can learn a lot from you in terms of traveling. I can tell that. So the next thing I would ask you is, you have so much experience of dealing with different people, right? So what's that one thing that you feel that has helped you a lot in terms of dealing with anybody? Like, because you don't know them and you come from a very different culture. For somebody who's going to maybe Thailand for the first time, Vietnam for the first time, they don't understand the language. So what are your like one thing that helped you so much?
Yeah, I would give a bookish answer without sounding bookish. All right.
Okay, looking to it.
Uh, I think it's the number one thing that has helped me is being kind to people. Right? When you
Yeah,
were
I
asking
agree.
me that question, I was like, क्या बोलूं अभी
I
बोलता हूँ
agree.
smile.
I agree.
Smile works always. It
Yes,
does.
yes, it
It
does.
does.
It
Empathy
does. It
works
does.
always, right?
Yes, it does.
Um, putting understanding different cultures. I could have given any answer. Being kind to others always works. Then you'll automatically smile also. Then you'll automatically look into their eyes. Then you'll be genuinely interested in their stories. Like you'll talk to a taxi driver in Berlin with by being kind. You'll talk to a tuk-tuk driver in Bangkok with kindness.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So, and the thing is, it's a mirror because the way you are, the way it's like, I don't know, Neeraj, tell me, I have moved to a different city. I'm in Chennai right now.
Chennai, yeah.
A guy born in Delhi, lived his life all across the world, last 5 years in Bombay, now moved to Chennai. And a lot of people ask me, how are you dealing with Chennai? And I tell them I've had the most amazing experience in Chennai in terms of
Chennai.
meeting people. I've met only nice people. Because in my experience, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, and your experience may be different than mine, but if you are genuinely kind to people, there is no chance someone will mistreat you. Or rather, there's a very little chance that someone would mistreat you. In that
Yeah, this
situation,
is
you just like pull yourself out of that.
yeah. I agree. I think this sort of the last bit. I feel is a little controversial for some people,
Yes, it is.
but
That's the reason I said it. Because like,
yeah.
it doesn't work 100% of the time. When you're kind to some people would not reciprocate, but that situation, like percentage of that happening is very.
Very less. So I think you touched upon a very beautiful thing that I would just like to thread into something else, is that when you said like being kind is a sort of a non-verbal communication that happens, and people reciprocate to that, because nowadays that's what I have felt is people don't expect you to be kind to them. People don't generally expect you to be kind to them. So if you are like humble enough or kind enough to be very approachable, showing off a good energy, good vibe, so people remember you because you made them feel good, right? So people might not remember your name, where you came from, stuff like that, because I relate to it in my own traveling stories. Because for example, I'll give you an example, is that when I went through metro in the first time in Mumbai, when I came from Pune, I did my engineering from Pune. So then the metro was very new for me because Pune didn't had it, and वहाँ पे bus system बहुत ज़्यादा dominant है. So the first day I was excited. I was a little new to that process, कि card बनाओ and you swipe and stuff like that. New thing for me. So there was a guy, a ticket guy who helped, and then they're not even used to being called by their name. So I saw it on his badge, and then I thanked him, and just few humble words from my side, and then he remembered my name daily. Like whenever I was commuting, even if I go till now, he remembers me, and he's there because it's a government job, so people don't change that much. But you understand that 5 minutes, and it's been like more than, I think, 9 to 10 years, but he still remembers because nobody does that. It's rare.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So this I can vouch for this because I've seen it. So it's not something Varun is saying that doesn't work. And I wanted to give the story out because when you do, people do things that people don't expect. It can be just lightly over delivering stuff. They remember you because you did something they didn't expect it. So next question I would ask you is that in today's generation, at least in Gen Z, that I feel very specifically, there's a lot of confidence issue or mental health issue. Is it because of the communication, or they are too worried about the atmosphere? Like what is your experience? Because you kind of manage different age groups. You have gone through people who are elder than you were younger than you have managed both the sides of the coin. So I would like to know, like, what is your experience?
I mean, if you ask me, mental health is not just subjective to Gen Z or millennials or bloomers or boomers. Sorry, my bad. It's not subjective to a particular set or particular age group, is what I would want to say. It's just that the younger generation is much more aware of mental health issues because they have kind of risen in the age where these things are okay to talk about. When I was growing up and I was in my early 20s, nonsense. Like,
yeah, literally.
What exactly are you talking about? What you want to go to a therapist? Are you crazy?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Now I'm in my mid 30s, like I'm 36. So a little over mid 30s. And now it's absolutely okay for us to talk about mental health issues because we know that people understand. Right. So I think it's not just subjected to a particular generation. It's just that what was not okay then to talk about, the acceptance is much better now. That's the reason why everyone is talking about it. In fact, my parents, who would not even understand mental health, probably don't understand mental health still, are okay hearing about it. But a bit of it, or some part of my father probably would be like, aching, hearing that, oh, mental health issues, going to therapist, what the hell, right? You can't control that. But to answer the second bit of your question, Neeraj, why is this so much happening? Why this generation is going through it? I think I'll link it back to the previous question. I think everyone has been going through it. It's just that people from our generation or the generation before were just not very vocal about it, were not confident about it to talk about it, because then you would be considered as someone who's crazy. And everyone goes through mental health issues. I have dealt with it strongly. I've dealt with anxiety. I've dealt with like weird thoughts, and I've actively gone for therapy and I've improved on that. And I still like journal and I meditate. I've started meditating like a month. I have been trying to meditate for over a year, unsuccessful attempts. But I think last month has been very helpful to calm my brain. So yeah, so that's I if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes like perfect sense, because I feel I do agree with you completely. I would just like to break it down. Why did I ask in specific terms for Gen Z? Is because So there are two perspectives to it. That's what I feel. So in generation like my generation, I'm a millennial, so it was like a transitioning phase for it becoming okay. Okay, so the generation that was previous to me was like very dominant कि नहीं यार ये तो क्या है, ये तो कोई issue है ही नहीं. It's like
Yeah.
this is not there. It's like
Like our
hocus pocus, right?
parents, right?
Yeah. It was not okay to show your emotion in that generation. Okay, it was considered as a sign of weakness. That's what I have get in a sense. It still is for that generation कि यार ऐसी कैसी बातें करते हम. You know, it still is in there because that's how they are programmed. Right? Everybody is programmed in a different space, different environment.
Yeah.
So particularly in my space, it was transitioningly becoming okay because in my generation I was sort of having कि Instagram नहीं था because I have a lot of data coming in through my social media stuff and interacting with them personally, right? So what I have gone through, understanding their perspective, is they are indecisive because they have so many options right now. So they are right now seeing somebody who is earning like maybe 5 crores, 6 crores, 7 crores, and they are not able to pick the pen. So they immediately assign their life with somebody in the future they aspire to be, not understanding that it takes time. You need to be patient. Everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own pace, but seeing it daily in the screen, in their social media circle, it kinds of reinforces them कि अरे यार it's too much to do. Because I can't imagine myself doing that right now. Because right, even if I ask you, imagine yourself doing what you are at the age of 12, 13, you wouldn't know कि कहाँ से start करूँ, going to more than 140 countries. Like you have been across the globe, right? And I can tell, having a tattoo and, you can't imagine this Varun's image from a 12 years old perspective.
Yeah.
And then they are so lost कि, they give up. They give up pretty easily. Like, कि नहीं हो सकता भैया नहीं हो सकता and then this I am touching this topic because it has gone to such severe lengths that people even go, because there is a lot of societal pressure. Competition has given a lot of boost कि IIT ही करना है, NEET ही करना है and stuff like that. And then the suicide rate has gone up a lot in that age group from 12 to 16. So it's a very sensitive topic. It's not just about mental health. It's about actual overall health. We term it as mental health, but it actually determines your whole life quality, right?
Yeah,
so it's not just one perspective that I feel. So that is why I asked you this.
I get it. And the thing is, you know what? In all honesty, I feel the pressure too. I'm sure you feel the pressure as well.
Yes.
I feel the pressure every night, yeah. मतलब after work, opening Instagram, everyone seems to live a cool life. हम क्या करते हैं, सुबह 8:30 बजे ऑफिस जा रहे हैं, रात को वापस 8 बजे जाते हैं. And we also kind of underestimate whatever we have done in life.
Correct.
I have traveled, since you said, I've traveled to over 70 countries.
Yeah.
Or I've lived in so many countries. I've lived in so many cities. I have a beautiful home. I love my life. But still, there's always going to be someone who's doing better than you are. And social media is a mirage. वो दिखता कुछ और है, होता कुछ और है, right?
होता कुछ और है.
अब मैं I post every day on every thrice a week on LinkedIn, and once a week that one of the stories, one of the reels get repurposed on Instagram. अब उसको देख के everyone will be like, अरे यार, what sorted life, 70 countries he's been to, now he's living in Chennai, but they don't know the struggles.
Yes,
it's
exactly.
not a cool life, and someone out there, I don't know, maybe I don't know, I'm not putting myself on a pedestal right now, but I'm just saying someone out there is looking at my Instagram and thinking I live the coolest life and feeling shitty about themselves.
Yes.
Which should not be the case, because I am also looking at someone else's Instagram and thinking I have a shitty life. So that's not the benchmark, is what I'm saying. And I'll also say one more thing, is that instant gratification कि भाई,
yes, absolutely,
2 रील बना लिए या फिर 2 आर्टिकल लिख लिए या फिर 2 साल काम कर लिया तो अभी भी सक्सेस नहीं मिली. So that sucks, man. That sucks, right? Now I'll tell you.
Yes.
If I'm here on your podcast, right? And I'm not saying anything about you. I'm not saying anything about me. For you to even consider me worthy enough to call at a platform which is linked to your success, which is your social media, your self-worth, your everything, I must have done something.
Absolutely.
और वो 2 साल में नहीं किया ना, वो 14 साल लगे उसको करने में.
Correct. Correct.
So that, I think that's the only message I would like to give, is that it takes time. And it
Yeah.
more than time these days, actually, it doesn't take that much time. But it takes
Actually.
a lot of work. It takes hard freaking work, which is not glorious. वो Instagram पे
Agree.
कोई like नहीं मिलते और वो कुछ नहीं मिलता. वो अभी आप अपने स्टूडियो में रात को देखो 9:30 बजे you're sitting there. 9:30 बजे after a long day of work, I'm sitting here. But you and I are not getting any likes. This may happen maybe after
Correct.
a month, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think जो एक आपने point touch किया now of instant gratification, that I think is a part of programming in Gen Z and the people who will come through, because everything has become very easy, very instant, like Swiggy, Instamart. You think this changes your brain, right? It's not just a psychological thing. Yeah, yeah. See, everything is available. Even a partner is available on Bumble. So, you know, yeah. So like, it wasn't on our time, but I've seen that transition. So maybe it is because कि अब वो patience खत्म करवा दी गई है by society. You know, it's not their fault. It's because the environment has become so easy, so comforting कि whenever you get a little hurt ना, तो तुम्हारे में अब tolerance नहीं बचा. That is what I feel after interacting with so many people. The
Readily available.
tolerance level has gone.
Readily available.
Yeah, yeah, and that again, you know, we go to instant gratification, we go to dopamine. So see, we both are fitness enthusiasts. I know that, right? So just to give viewers a context, like Varun is sort of, you know, he likes, he has been part of marathons. He likes running in Chennai. I feel is a good place to even, like, it's always raining, so it's like kuch to, like, I feel fitness is something that he's we both have
But both
common.
of
And
us
so
share that. You are a power lifter.
yeah,
I
yes,
do CrossFit. So, and
yes,
that stuff takes time.
correct. And
But
you
time
know,
for
even
what? Like you and I think you and I do it for less for showing a six-pack ab, but
correct, correct.
mostly for mental toughness, right? It just feels good.
Yes,
It sets the tone
yes,
for
yes,
the day.
yes, yes. And that is exactly what I was coming for. So I feel like gymming or doing any fitness activity, whether you start running for 15 minutes every day, whether you just start walking for 15 minutes every day. The point is how long you do it. It's not about the duration. If you go for gymming, if you take any activity, the point is, as far as you keep on doing it, it will sort of keep changing you, because it teaches you a lot of qualities, consistency, having that discipline of doing that stuff. You start enjoying it, then you get dopamine hit from correct process. You still get dopamine hit. So fitness gives you dopamine hit, but it gives you delayed gratification wala dopamine hit. So once you have that patience, once you are habitual to good stuff, you know, it's like, you know, once you listen to a very good headphones, तो तुम वो 50 रुपए वाला गली का headphone use नहीं कर सकते. You know, you are habitual to having that quality in your ears, right? So once you start exercising, once you start eating clean, you see the benefits of that in your mental health, in overall your body, your physique, your energy level, your confidence. So I think easy gymming or doing any physical activity is the quickest hack to reprogram yourself. Again, as Varun said, mental toughness. I feel really it's much more like physical benefits is just like 10% of it. I think Varun would agree. What it gives you is much more than just physical thing.
Yeah, you know, it absolutely, that's true, because you know, when I work out in the morning, yes, I feel great. But I mean, my body feels great, but my mind feels even better, because then I'm more
Yes,
productive, and then that's my first
yes,
win for the day, right?
yes.
And then, you know, a lot of times, more often than not, and this is something that, you know, I learned recently. Not recently, I know it for a while, but someone said it,
Okay.
that who's that one person who you break most of your promises to?
Yourself.
Exactly, yourself, right? You break. Who's that one person who you let down the most?
The most.
It's
Yourself.
not your parents. It's not your girlfriend, boyfriend. It's not your anything. It's you yourself. I am going to
Yeah.
eat clean for 30 days. After 21 days, or after 20 days, or after 15 days, or after even a week, chal yaar, you know, let me have a drink.
Yeah.
I'm feeling I've had a rough day, let me have a drink. Or I'm feeling a little too lazy. I'm going to be fit for 30 days. Today it's raining. It's okay. It's fine. Doesn't matter. That's your brain playing tricks on you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
so
agree.
it's that easy for you to give up. But then imagine how everyone gives up on these things. So how simple it is for you to succeed, because 90% of the people give up.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's what in
And
today's time, it's very easy to be successful because no one's willing to put
I
the work.
agree. I agree. So the worse the generation gets, it's easier for other people to go ahead because the quality is deteriorating. And if somebody is even at average level, na, he'll be like the feeling of having the feeling of a topper, like कि आज कुछ तो कर दिया मैंने जीवन के अंदर जिंदगी में.
And again, it's not about anyone else, yeah. It's about you. You
Yeah,
just
it's
like
about
you
you.
you
Yeah.
look at your day, you look at your thought patterns, what makes you feel good. If a workout makes you feel good, great. Like a lot of people are promoting 5 a.m. wake up club. अरे भाई नहीं चाहिए मुझे 5 a.m. wake up club. I want to get my 8 hours of sleep. I want to wake up at 9 a.m. and still be productive, which I could very well be, which is fair.
Yes.
I wake up at 6:30, I'm very productive. A friend of mine wakes up at 10 a.m. He's a millionaire, right?
Yeah. So there is so my first book is actually coming out in Jan. Okay. And I have written about these things in the book. So I'm going to break it down a little. ये थोड़ा सा teaser हो जाएगा मेरे book का. It's sort of कि the first thing that Varun spoke about, the small voice that comes into your head कि यार ये. So there's something called as lizard brain, right? And it's responsible for your flight and fight response. So it's designed to keep you safe, not designed to consider your growth. So that's the process of your prefrontal cortex. So that's the smallest region of our brain. And it's still evolving, right? As a human, we are still evolving. तो वो जो lizard brain होती है ना, वो हमेशा आके बोलती है कि नहीं करना यार, इसमें तकलीफ है. Anything that has resistance, your lizard brain is the small voice that talks कि नहीं करना. Now the funny thing is that you can reprogram it. So once you are aware of it, कि हाँ ये मेरी lizard brain is talking and I know that it's possible, it's just giving me stupid excuses कि क्यों नहीं करना. So once you are aware of that mechanism that is going inside of you, then you understand कि अरे यार हम तो बचपन से बुद्धू बन रहे हैं. So it takes time, and that's like I love David Goggins in this perspective. He has discussed this in very much of depth. How your lizard brain kills you and makes you a very average person. So once you can overcome that lizard brain wala part na, then you skyrocket, man, because 90% people, as Varun said, will just give up because of the small voice that's coming through their heads कि यार ठीक है ना, खा लेते हैं यार, क्या 21 दिन से तो भाग रहा हूँ मैं, आज तो जश्न बनता है.
And और किसी को बोलना भी नहीं है ना, because it's my commitment to me, so I can alter it anytime.
किसको पता है? Like if I break it. Nobody knows. Nobody cares, to be honest.
It comes out so much in your workouts, Neeraj, and you would know that, right? When it's only in your head कि I'm doing deadlifts, right? I'm lifting 100 kgs or I'm lifting 150 or whatever. Abhi, you're looking at that bar and you're saying that 7 reps, right? I could do 7. And I will do 7. And no one knows, not even your spotter, no one knows about it. No one, your friend, your girlfriend, boyfriend, no one knows. But now you're at it. You're lifting. And after 5, like, I've done a great job, bro. This is your voice telling yourself, I've done a great job. 5, enough. And then you put the bar down, right? You're letting yourself down, right?
Yes,
and what happens is
absolutely.
that it becomes a habit. And I have been the biggest culprit of it. I've done it always until very recently. I've stopped doing that. If I've said I'm only talking about gym right now. If I've said I'll do a plank for a minute and a half, no matter what happens, I will not stop before that. Because earlier I would stop at a minute. And I was like, ठीक है यार, अच्छा कर लिया 1 मिनट, बहुत अच्छा है. मैं और कोई कंपटीशन थोड़ा ना है.
हाँ, and immediately we are like, अरे ये लोग तो 1 मिनट भी नहीं कर पाते. In the brain, it's
Precisely.
like, अरे लोग तो 1
You're
मिनट भी
giving
नहीं कर
yourself
पाते.
excuses, right?
हम तो 1.5 कर रहे हैं यार. Like 90% of people can't do it, man. Like with proud. अरे and still I could do 30 seconds more. If I knew, I could do 30 seconds more. मतलब तुम देखो मेरे में और एवरेज पर्सन में कितना ज़्यादा गैप है. So you need to have a lot of patience कि तुम प्रोग्राम करोगे. So if you, for example, need to go to 200 का deadlift, you can't start with directly 190 का rack. And you need to program yourself कि हाँ, you have to be very patient कि हाँ चलो आज 150 के 6 चले गए, कल 170 के 3, कल 180 के 2. Then slowly, and you can only test it once a month. मैं रोज जाके मैं 200 का डेडलिफ्ट नहीं मार सकता because that's abusive of my body, right? It is not meant to do that on daily basis. But yeah, you can program it. But ये ज़्यादा tough है उसमें.
100%.
Lifting the bar, I know it's 200 kgs, right? I have not done that yet. But if the more important part is this, if I can actually believe that I can lift it in 3 months, I will program it and I'll make it happen no matter what. That's the main game.
Yeah.
You understand it? If you do bench press, right? You know कि हाँ ठीक है 100 kgs it's very difficult. I can do 90 very easily. 3 reps से ज़्यादा जाएगा कि नहीं जाएगा? You know it might be difficult, but you still do it anyway. Now that programs your mind, and it, as Varun said, it calluses your brain so much.
Yeah.
Again, a big fan of David Goggins here, but
David
yeah,
Goggins, right? Yeah. I've read his
yeah,
book. I follow him.
can't hurt me. Yeah, can't hurt me. Yeah, amazing, amazing. And one thing Varun touched upon again, right? The morning routine stuff. Yeah, so I think it's bullshit, to be honest. Yeah, because see, there's a lot of hocus pocus going on in terms of nowadays कि ये 10 चीजें होनी चाहिए for me to be eligible to do 15 minutes of productive task. To logically, if you think about it, if I'm doing 3 hours of prep and I'm doing 15 minutes ka task because I wanted to be in that state of mind to be able to do 15 minutes ka work, but I'm wasting 3 hours for it. How am I being productive? I don't get it. You're putting 3 hours of your life daily, right? So in this, I go with Alex Hermosi. I don't know if you have heard with that guy. He produces a good content a lot. So I agree with him because I have gone through it. So I was a big fan of this thing for a certain period of time. Ki chalo, let's try it out. I don't disregard things just because I feel like it. So I tried, and then I actually felt like yaar bahut time ja raha hai for me to be in that state of mind. And then you get habitual ki अरे यार ये zone में होना मेरे लिए जरूरी है to work, but actually working is to get in the zone. So that's my context to it. You may differ, you can add on to it like what you feel.
I don't have a morning routine. I do like my mornings, but there is no routine. I wake up, I do look at my phone. ठीक है. I mean, I can't help it. I try not to. And I get ready and go to the gym. I come back from the gym. I don't meditate in the morning because I feel like there's too much going on in my head. And I also feel that after meditation, I really feel like very calm and I want to sleep. So I do that at night.
I do it at night. Simplest application of meditation, yaar. You sleep well.
It's like, a lot of people must have read this book, Atomic Habits, right? Stacking the habits. So सोने से पहले meditate, right? After meditation, I just don't look at my phone and I just sleep. But in the morning, it's all chaos because I know I have to rush for my office, so I can't meditate because now I'm thinking about my next task. And again, it's tailored for everyone. A lot of people wake up at 4:30 so that they don't have to worry about it. I've tried that, but then I'm very tired towards the evening. I also fast. I do intermittent fasting for like 17 to 18 hours. So if I wake up so early in the morning, then by 1 or 2 p.m. I'm dying. I can't. So I don't mind getting that 1 extra hour of sleep. So again, I don't have a routine. Whatever brings me happiness in that morning, in that day, I do that.
I feel the best routine for you is that gives you the least resistance and maximizes your productivity, right? The amount of time that you are doing in the work, because मेरे लिए भी I feel a lot similarities between us कि I feel in night I have much more clarity in my mind because I have been able to get awake in 3 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning. I've tried everything. It's like for me I have to sometimes force myself to sleep because from a bodybuilding perspective, I need my body to rest, right? Because that's a very huge part of my life. I don't compromise on my health. So, but I have figured out that I don't require as much of sleep because what I do is I take small naps in between to keep my mind charged, right? So, and I do that smartly with my food ki jahan pe I'm eating carbs, I'm giving my mind rest. So what happens is that मुझे bulk में sleep नहीं लगती उतनी. I am like thinking of it now. I am becoming way more productive because my sleep cycle is way different than people, and I don't think about day in terms of night day. I just keep maximum amount of work करना है, ये करना है, and where I feel कि हाँ यहाँ पे मेरे को sleep will give advantage in terms of productivity, I do that. So because that's the way I'm being able to live. So same, just like your friend कि यार 10 बजे उठ रहा हूँ, I don't care whenever I wake up. It's not a benchmark for me. Yeah. So
as long as you can get your work done and get on with the day, simple. Who cares?
Yeah, just don't waste 7 hours prepping it and then 15 hours ke work ke baad sleeping after the 8th hour. So like that's 90% of people, that's how they're doing it, you know?
There's a lot of pressure, right? There's a lot of pressure on
Yeah,
social
yeah,
media कि भाई morning routine, 10 things that the most successful people do every morning.
yeah.
5 people that you do and you'll sure shot be a millionaire. So it doesn't work like that.
The point is it works, but not everything works for you, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly. You
you
make
know,
your own thing, but
yeah,
consistency is the key, right?
correct.
And I was talking to someone recently, right? Like we all are doing fancy workouts every day, CrossFit. Uh,
Hmm.
so many people are preaching, and I said, just do your basic and do that for 30 days. Like do when I don't
Correct.
have right now, I don't have access to the gym because of Chennai floods. My CrossFit box is in the basement. It got flooded.
Oh,
So they are doing the cleaning, and I'm really looking forward to going to the gym. And I'm not someone who can work out at home. I don't find the
correct,
motivation, but I need to
correct.
do something. So some days I'm running, but when the days I'm not running, I literally, like, behind me, there's my living room. It's pretty big. I put my yoga mat,
Yeah,
I do 100 push ups, I do 100 squats, I do some leg
nice.
raises, and that's it. Then I'm done. But I don't do anything, but if I do that consistently, I'm still going to be okay.
Yes, yes.
So that's what people don't understand.
Yeah, it's not about what you do, it's about how long you do it with consistency.
Consistency, like 100 push-up तुम दो रोज के करो, 100 squats रोज के करो. Do something with your abs, like lower abs. Do it for 30 days, but do it for 30 days or do it
Yeah, so
consistently for whatever time.
nah, but I relate to it because my coaching journey started with me training people in terms of transformation, because people literally could not recognize me since after the accident, and then I
Yeah.
self-coached myself, and I had to learn that much because I was in a very extreme phase. But from that, they could see कि हाँ ये बंदे ने, I have that knowledge, I know that because I keep on doing it, because I still keep on evolving, learning, because the more you learn, the more you know कि how less you know. So it's like a spiral,
that's
and
that's a good one. That's a good one.
yeah,
The more
yeah,
you
and
know, the less you, the more you
the
know,
more you realize how
the more you
less you know.
realize that how less you know. Is
Yes.
that right? Yeah, very cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a good one.
So yeah, my brain thinks like that. I keep on writing quotes now, so my brain is like, yeah, desh kya ho. So it comes out, but I'm very habitual. So this is again a habit of mine, right? Since I have been doing this content for a very long time, I've been writing for a very long time. So you just groom yourself, right? But as I was saying, was कि पहले लोग आके पूछते हैं डाइट दो हमें. Like if somebody comes to me as a client, so I don't keep more than 3 people at my client space, because I believe in quality more than I can earn way more in terms of having 20, 300, 500,000 people, but then I would not be able to personally coach them. So first myth that I burst to them is कि diet करने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है. You don't need to stop eating roti, chawal, everything and then die like a mummy. So the first shock they have is कि फिर पतले कैसे होंगे हम? It's because you are unaware of what you eat. Just become aware. So my first step is to make them aware of what you're eating. So the basic problem with in Indian society is that we are not aware of what is carbs, what is protein, what is the chronological of order of eating them, how it spikes your blood insulin. So once I give them the basics of things and then I understand their body structure and their body needs, it's very easy. It's very fundamental. So I am a very simplistic guy who believes in fundamentals. Like as you said, squat maro, deadlift maro, bench press maro. You don't need any other exercise. Okay, you don't need to do 200 variations, because that is something that exists now. People who have been winners of Olympia didn't even had that kind of equipments, right? So and still people give excuses ki gym acha nahi hai. It's not about gym acha nahi hai. It's about whether you are enough or not. So yeah, यही चीज हो जाती है कि what you actually think works, something opposite of it works, but we don't actually try that out.
Comes back to again,
So
no, that gratification, right? When they go to a fancy gym, it's a dopamine hit in a way, because you're seeing all chiseled, beautiful people, good music, good surroundings, and you think that you're gonna be fit.
they
So
go to the gym to post it on Instagram. Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
was in the golds.
And most
I
of the
was in the
workouts
gold.
don't even get done without posting. I mean, I'm also one of the culprits, but I don't post my own pictures. I post, like, if I'm running outside, then I'll post a picture of the what my view is. Uh,
Yeah.
It's just a nice thing to. I like it because Nike gives you that kind of uh, that this. I mean, the Nike app gives you that opportunity, or rather, that option to post. So yeah.
Well, I feel you should be proud of your progress. It's something that's needed because as a human, we need some kind of feedback coming back to us and saying us, ki, you're making progress, whether it's small, big. I think it's appropriate to do that. But the point is, you don't need to get lost into it. Like your motive of getting better should not be ki, what is that guy or what is that girl thinking about me, or me just to be able to post something on social media. The purpose should be that I feel better than what I was yesterday, right?
That's not right.
And
I'll add to that. One thing I recently learned in one of the courses is that when you're reaching very close to your goal, most of the people slow down. And I'll give you a
exactly.
very relatable example. I am dieting and I am 85 kgs and I've been dieting for a month and a half. And today I am 81. 4 किलो कम हो गया आज रात को I'm gonna have nice beer, I'm gonna have butter chicken naan, or I'm gonna have like fried chicken or whatever, right? Because I want to celebrate. And then that rut goes into the second day, to the third day, to the fourth day. I mean, I'm talking from the personal experience, by the way, not at present.
Everybody does that. Everybody does that. I have done that too. So
But what I realized is, and rather what I learned recently, not so recent though, but I learned it, that when you're closer to your goal, you should be becoming even more dedicated rather than being relaxed, because that's what happens, right? Like when you're in a 100-meter race, and when you know that, oh, there's no one, and you know that you're about to win,
yeah,
instead of slowing down, you should charge up even faster.
in athletes there is something called as zone, but just before you reach that zone, it's a mental space to be at, where you are very fluent with your activity and you are like in completely sync of it, and you perform at your max without effortlessly thinking about it. So just before the zone comes, it's extremely difficult mentally. So 190 से 200 का जो transition है, that's the most mentally difficult part. So for example, I've been cutting down body fat percentage. So right now I'm at 15% body fat. So 15 से लेके जो 13 की journey होगी, 13% की journey होगी, that would be way more difficult. But once I reach that 13%, I'll be in the zone. My mind का switch taps. And then if you go to competition athletes जिन्होंने 6 महीने से they haven't had that much of carbs, and you go ask any of them, अगले दिन वो किसी का मन नहीं करता बर्गर पिज़्ज़ा खाने का, किसी का भी नहीं. Even if you offer them, a lot of my personal friends are there who have competed in competitions. Even one of my friend who's doing it right now in the Ireland. Nobody feels like, because everybody is in the zone.
That reminds me of these 75 hard that's going on these days, right?
Yeah.
On media.
Yeah.
Have you seen those athletes who are, they start at 75, they're not going 100 hard. They didn't stop.
Yeah.
Money nahi kiya, because that became part of them. After that, like 2 45-minute workouts, 4 liters of water, reading every day, waking up at a certain hour, eating no junk food, no sugar, whatever it is. I am not quite sure, but they're still following it on 100th day also.
Yeah, because I can't imagine doing what I used to do 2 years back, right? अब मेरे लिए, or maybe oats is my go-to meal, or doing exercise it's not a exercise for me. It's like a habit for me. Like I need it, right? And then same as you said कि 75 hard का example जो आपने दिया, it's like I started posting daily. It was initially meant for 70 days. Now I'm at like 105. So you evolve, yeah, because now it's not as difficult as you thought, right? You have evolved in that variation, and that's what I was trying to explain. कि once you surpass that zone ना, एक ultra marathon आपने भाग ली ना, then you are like, I know I can do this. I have mentally broken myself down enough. I can do this. So I'll do this 100 of times. The first one is the most important one. That's why I'm very big on कि भाई life में कुछ तो physical activity होनी चाहिए. It trains you like nothing else. Teaches
you so much, right? Like I recently ran a 10K. Now I've been into fitness for a while, so a lot of people probably were surprised that अरे यार 10 kilometer भागा सिर्फ, so why is he so happy about it? Because I used to be a sprinter. I used to be
Oh,
at field events. I used to run 100 and 200 meters. I was never a fan of long distance running. So the first 10 kilometers I ran 3 weeks ago was my first ever. And I finished it in a very good time because I ran with my gym members and they were like, how why are you running so fast? Because I used to sprint. That's the reason. But it was a mental block in my head that where I was thinking कि यार 10 kilometer बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया. I'm like 5 kilometers max is what I can do. But 10K I've signed up for it now. I better finish it. And at that last, and I even wrote about it. As I mentioned, I write a lot on LinkedIn, right? I
yeah, yeah.
did write about it that after 7K, my mind took over because everything was
Exactly.
hurting after 5K or after 6K, everything was hurting. My knees were hurting, my shin was hurting, my calves were hurting. 7 kilometer के बाद my brain took over and then I couldn't feel pain even though everything was hurting.
Yeah, you were in the zone, man.
Yep. So to your point,
Yeah,
that could be it. And
yeah,
then I only felt the pain after I crossed the finish line and someone came with
yeah,
a medal. I said, "Oh wow, this is my first ever medal," you know. So
yeah. Because that one thing becomes your obsession, right? Everything fades away. That's the zone. Like it's about your focus being extremely narrowed down to just one thing that everything else fades away.
and
So
that is so rare
yeah,
these days, right? So that's the reason sports.
exactly. Exactly. वो एक mentally आपको bubble में ला देता है कि you don't think about
Yeah,
anything else.
absolutely, absolutely.
So now let's pivot down to, since we have talked much about your writing and stuff like that. So let's talk about your podcast, which is The Human Equation. And I have heard the episodes of it, and I'm already a big fanboy of Varun. So uh,
Thank you, man. Thank you.
yeah. So I would like to know from Varun is in terms of like what was the idea behind The Human Equation? Like what's your intention with how it goes into future? Like what's the message you want to give?
Since we're only being honest, I'm going to just be honest. There was no idea,
Yes.
no intention. Uh,
Yes.
I used to do voice acting because I was told at multiple occasions that you have a good voice, you have got a radio voice. So kuch karo uska.
Nice.
So during pandemic, I did voice acting and I did some paid assignments for some brands also. And but it stopped because I felt that I couldn't scale it. And then I went back to my corporate life. Though it was, anyways, I
Okay.
was within my corporate life, I was doing something like this on the side.
Extra. Yeah.
Yeah, but then I always wanted these podcast things, and the world always excited me a lot. And after after a certain point, I was like, okay, let's explore. So there was this one course I came across where like 7 days you start your podcast, and I said, I
Ah.
bought it. I bought it. I remember I bought it for about 1,200 rupees somewhere online,
Yeah. I know the
and
course.
kept it. I kept it. I never used it. I
Okay.
think खरीदने के 6 महीने के बाद I was like, I'm looking for a challenge. Let me do it now because I had just quit my job in Bombay.
Hmm.
I was in transition. And I was traveling. So I said, I will do it and I will launch my podcast and I will do it for myself. So I took up
Correct.
a challenge कि 7 दिन में मैं podcast launch करके ही रहूंगा.
Got
And
it.
then I also heard some data that, most of the podcasts don't take off after 4 episodes. People stop
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
They don't go beyond 7 episodes. So I
Correct.
said, "Das to karna hi hai."
अरे वाह.
So the first target was that I will launch my podcast in 7 days from the time
That's how it begins.
yeah, I did my own artwork on Canva. I use my phone, no fancy mics, nothing. Just use my iPhone. It's right here. I use this phone. On Spotify for podcasters, there's an app. Uh, use yeah, pretty simple. Use my I did script it myself though because I love to write. So scripting was
Yes.
done by myself, and it became easier because there was no fluff. Every episode was directly a reflection of what I had lived in my life.
Exactly.
So that's how it came about. And human equation, I did a lot of research. I asked ChatGPT a lot of questions. I gave ChatGPT my entire life story. I said, "Abhi topic batao bhai." So human equation came from there. One of the topics out of 10. So human equation spoke to me. It like related to
Yes.
me.
Yes.
Thanks for ChatGPT. Otherwise, पता नहीं मैं क्या नाम रखता. But
So ChatGPT is changing life. Yeah. I can
yeah,
tell.
yeah, yeah. So that's how human equation. came into picture, and I did 10 episodes, and then I paused because my work was getting very, very demanding. And I recently moved to Chennai 3 months ago, right? So I said, okay, let me just do 10 episodes and then take a pause and then come back. And the next season, I'm still thinking, planning. I would want to do a video just like how you and I are doing.
And you will. So the funny story is that I feel Varun is just like a future version of me, because you know everything that he has done in his stories, and I'm like, okay, so Delhi guy, the same sort of parenting stuff, then same sort of transitioning. Then he quit his job. So I want to ask you two questions now. So the first part is that you were transitioning while you were having this podcast thing. So was it like Success Gyan where you got the thing and then you were transitioning from Bombay to Chennai? Or and what was the reason that you wanted it to shift from that to Success Gyan in terms of
So
your job transition?
so now since you mentioned Success Gyan, so that's the company I work for. For everyone who's listening to this, the transition was very simple because I feel I I started my career with hotels, and then I moved to aviation because I wanted to travel the world. In aviation and in airlines and Etihad Airways and Qatar Airways, I was working as an instructor, training cabin crew and ground staff. So that required a lot of talking and being in front and being on stage, and that is something that I feel I'm in my zone when I do that. So when I'm talking to an audience, I am in my zone, and that is something that I don't I then the time flows when I'm doing that.
Yes.
And then for some reason, I had to come back to India after Qatar Airways, and I was looking for work. And then I did join a company. I was heading a clinical research company for almost 4.5 years as a chief operating officer. So it was great. I was living the life in Bombay, but things happened when I felt that I was not living up to my potential and I was not doing enough. And then Neeraj, super speaker happened, and then that became a thing, and then I felt like
I get it.
that was my uh,
Calling.
that was my calling, and also that was my first introduction to Success Gyan.
Yes.
And I said they've launched super speaker, and now out of so many people have come onto that stage. So that passion got reignited. So I said, okay, now I want to do this more. I want to explore more. So I want to work with the same company. And that's how it happened. And I moved to Chennai. And yes, the podcast happened when I had resigned and I was doing my traveling bit. And I was in transition between the two jobs.
Very interesting. You stole my question. I was going to come on super speaker, but yeah. So yeah, Success Gain is out now, and to everyone, Varun was not just among the top 100 or top 500 or stuff, like he was on the stage, and just to give the context, I think he was fourth, right, Varun? Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes. So fourth in entire India. So not Gujarat, Maharashtra, Mumbai, Delhi, entire India, and yeah, so it was a big thing. I think that journey would have reignited the thing. Ki, yeah, I can do this, because that's not something that anybody imagines. I'm also the part of the Super Speaker season 3. That's how I was able to meet Varun. And tomorrow is the submission of one of our videos in the round. And I'm like,
What a
yeah,
day.
scripting ho
What a
gayi
day,
hai,
man.
scripting ho gayi hai, shooting ho gayi hai. I still need to edit the video, and I'm like,
Maybe you can just
okay.
send snippets of this podcast and combine this into your speech and then submit it.
Really. I'm like, आपने इतना सा मांगा था, I can give you more than 150 seconds. So, but I feel very relatable to his journey. The landmarks are very similar. Like, I should be like, okay, I should call you and, अच्छा ऐसा हुआ था क्या? Let me think about it. Should I go left or should I go right?
See, knowing my journey, I think you'll probably there'll be a lot of mistakes also that we haven't spoken here, right? So avoid the mistakes. But then again, you'll make your own mistakes.
Everybody, you have to make your own mistakes, because then you won't realize कि सही रास्ता कौन सा है. So I would like to know, like once you realize that you were part of top 100 or top 10, suddenly कि हाँ यार, सोचा नहीं था यार, मैंने फॉर्म भर दिया और who would have known कि यार टॉप 10 में आ जाएंगे. यार मेरे को तो बस बोलना ही था. ये तो जिंदगी भर से इंतजार कर रहा था मैं बोलने के लिए. आज मौका मिला है.
That's true. No, yeah, it was honestly, it was a shock. I'll tell you why. Because in my season, there were 211,000 people that participated. 211,000 people. And that's when I found out after submitting my first video. First of all, I was hesitant. One fine day, I get a
Obviously.
random email from Success Gyan. I was like, I didn't even know that the company existed. Like, what is Success Gyan? What is this name, Success Gyan? And I was like, okay, seems interesting because you have to just like pick up your phone. And that was my first video ever. I picked up my phone. I was so bloody nervous. I made my first video and they required you to post a video on a social media platform. And I said, there is no way I'm going to post it on my Instagram. First of all, my Instagram is private. Secondly, I am not going to open my Instagram to public and then make this because I was embarrassed. I was like, my friends will be like making fun and I don't want that. So I posted it on YouTube because no one knows that Varun Rawal has a YouTube. But I
I
never
can
had a
relate.
YouTube. Those are the only 2-3 videos there right now. But then the second, okay, so first round happened, and first round May they were shortlisting from 2 lakh people to 1,000, and I was in 1,000, and I was like, okay, achieved. अभी होता है नहीं होता, I don't care.
हो गया
1,000 में
दिखाने
आ
के लिए
गए,
काफी
I
है.
am validated that I can talk. Out of 2 lakh people, 1,000 I can talk. ठीक है. अब
हाँ.
1,000 से फिर I think 500 था या 250 था, I can't remember exactly, but I came into that also. I came until 250. And now 250, I'm like, what is happening? And then from 250, it was straight to 10. And that was a nightmare for the judges. Now that I know how the judging happens, it's crazy because it's as real as it gets. There is no nonsense. So
Hmm.
you have to be very good to be to be selected in top 10. And when top
Yeah.
10 happened, I was people along with me were all like established trainers and coaches. Most of them, I think two of us were not, two or three of us. But I got a feeling of being completely an underdog there. But it happened, and yeah, I finished fourth, which is also a great feeling, to be honest. I never doubted that I could not speak, but it was just a reassurance that, okay, you have reached here, now don't waste it. So
Correct.
that's it.
या बेसिकली आपने 1,000 पे ही 10 वाली फीलिंग ले ली थी. बस 1,000 पे आ गया, ये हो गया मेरा काम यहाँ पे. लाइक आई डोंट केयर, लाइक टॉप
I
10.
was done,
लाइक
bro.
जहाँ से
I was
जहाँ
like,
से शॉर्ट लिस्टिंग स्टार्ट हो रही है वहीं वरुण बोल रहे हैं भाई तुमको आगे जो करना है कर लो. मैं तो हो गया भाई.
see, I
मतलब
just
आई
went in. I'll tell you what. And one very important thing now, Super Speaker now Super Speaker is brewing. A lot of people have started to know about Super Speaker. So people are stressed because, in those events when I go, people come to me and they're like, I loved your video. And, can I take a selfie with you? And I'm looking at myself and I'm looking at them and I'm like, do you have the right guy? Like, what's the deal here? But then they
हैपेंस.
say, oh, super speaker. But now it's getting traction. It's getting a lot of traction. At that time, it was like last year, 1,000 ho gaya, theek hai. I was very happy. It was like I I didn't need anything, and I got inside the competition not with an intention of coming out as a winner. And again, I'll relate it back. I'll reel it back to our discussion. I was
या.
enjoying the process, in all honesty, because I never thought that I want to win. Because मैंने बोला यार 2 लाख लोगों में से मैं 1,000 में आ गया काफी है, right? Super speaker is number one out of 2 lakh people. I am
करेक्ट.
not mad enough to think that I'm going to go there. I don't want to have such unrealistic dreams. So I was enjoying the process. और एक के बाद एक राउंड क्लियर होता गया and I started enjoying even more. I never felt stressed until the moment I was on stage.
स्टेज. या.
That's when I
एवरीथिंग
was,
किक्स इन.
I don't know what was going on in my head. But now, when I've spoken to so many people who are participating, they are very stressed out. They're like, Arey Varun, hoega na, ho jayega na. I'm like, just enjoy the process, man. just enjoy it. Enjoy creating value, telling your story. You're getting an opportunity, getting a beautiful
एग्जैक्टली.
opportunity to just
एग्जैक्टली.
don't think
एग्जैक्टली.
about winning, though. Okay, have it at the back of your head, but enjoy the whole process. Enjoy the journey.
To give viewers a context, so Varun was a winner in Super Speaker season 2, and abhi Super Speaker season 3
I
chal
was
raha
not a
hai.
winner.
We are,
I finished fourth.
yes, it's still, if you see in that
Still a
context,
win. Yeah,
I
still a
want to
win.
make you a winner, man. You are on my podcast. I want to make you a winner. so, so basically, I am in Super Speaker season 3, or abhi the stage is at like Super 500. We have, like, I'm into Super 500, and then by Jan 15, Super 100 will be there, and tomorrow is the last submission. So, मेरे को कैसे हुआ था कि I was searching for an opportunity to speak somewhere. I was like, I know I'm good with words. I feel like I can relate stories. I can give knowledge to people. Speaking gigs कहाँ पे होते हैं मतलब? I just wanted, like, free दे दो, कुछ भी दे दो. I just want to be on stage. I want to speak. And then I was like, okay, success Gyan. And I got an email through, actually I was into a course of Raj. It's an Instagram course that was there. And I was like, कौन है ये सक्सेस ज्ञान? Like, what is this? I never heard of it. Like, and they are telling कि become the super speaker of India. मतलब ये तो अलग लेवल की क्लेम हो रही है यहाँ पे. And I was like, ठीक है, मेरे को तो मौका चाहिए था बोलने का. I was like, it was like a universal call for me, to be honest. Like, मैं ढूंढ रहा था कि कहाँ बोला. मतलब ठीक है, ऑनलाइन बोल देंगे, हम तो लाइव के लिए रेडी थे.
No, so top 10 for me, we came from all parts of India, and we met here for the first time. And now we are so thick as we are like a tribe. We are like a, and
Exactly.
like I've made such great connections with these top 10, and we were competing against each other on stage. It was like a
Yes,
reality
absolutely.
show. And if you see the last episode, if you see the final finale, you'll get a feeling of a reality show because people are crying. I have spoken about my childhood. Someone else spoke about their struggles, and it was very real. It may look like how other reality shows which are scripted and what, but this was not scripted. This was as real, and I'm saying from the first hand experience because person right next to me, right on the right hand side was crying, on the left hand side was crying, and I was wondering like what is happening here, but it was as honest as it gets.
In the competition, when I saw your video, there were a lot of videos that I saw super speaker में in 250, and looking at you I was like, ये अपने ऐसा बंदा है. इसने किया है तो हम भी करेंगे. So I was like, because everybody came from a very different perspectives.
That was
Yeah.
precisely the idea कि अगर यार
Yes.
if I can do it, the guy, a guy who couldn't even converse in basic English in school, and now I'm standing at that stage. If I can do it, then anyone can.
So funny enough, there were 10 stories that were highlighted by Suren, the founder of Success Gyan, in the meets that he takes. These are the references you take and you make videos similar to this. So the beautiful part is that I may resonate to your video, somebody else might resonate to somebody else's video, and that's how the chain reaction starts. Like, okay, this guy is more relatable to me. Maybe I'm a South Indian. There is a certain South Indian.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Completely agree with you. And the connections I've made in this journey, I mean, I may have known them for last 1 year or less, but I mean, I have called them for certain things that I have not called people who I've known for last 20 years also. So
Now imagine that you were on the stage, maybe you were a little emotional, maybe more emotional, and then now imagine you are in a podcast discussing that whole journey, and you are working at Success Gyan. That's like, you could not have imagined that, we were talking about 15 years back, but you can't even imagine your life like 15 months back and think of it, कि अरे यार कितना सब कुछ change हो गया. You are in Chennai from maybe Abu Dhabi and stuff like that. You never know, but that's the beauty of it.
that's what at the beginning of your podcast, you said about people are scared of uncertainty, and there's some shift that happens when you embrace uncertainty. Ki bhai,
Yes.
it'll be fun. Let's see, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, and that change is growth, because you get habitual to growth. When you face small uncertainty, you get small growth, right? But what happens is that it gives you a positive feedback. Acha, I tried this. Now I'm little more confident because I was able to do this. So maybe I'm able to do a little more than this. So it increases. Your tolerance to uncertainty increases. Like initially, maybe Varun was scared of just traveling to one country. Like 3-4 हो गए उसके बाद तो क्या ही है, 10 कर लेंगे और मतलब that element of confidence keeps on increasing, compounding with the time. So and that's a different kick. That's again with the fitness कि हाँ ठीक है 10 उठाया easy हो गया, 20 करेंगे, 25 करेंगे, and I think that's the beauty of uncertainty. If you can face it and
As
come
long as you're
alive of
doing
it,
it in the positive sense, like don't try
yes.
uncertainty with alcohol or any other thing.
That is
आज
true.
5 पिया तो कल मैं 10 पीऊंगा अभी.
Yeah, then people will be like, I heard this on a podcast, like Dream with Neeraj के podcast पे सुना था, you should embrace anything. And then Varun was also saying कि भाई life का क्या भरोसा है. And आज तो कर ही देते हैं
Embrace
जो
the
करना है.
uncertainties. Let me just like enjoy the night.
Nah, guys, please be safe. I don't want to be sued for anything that I didn't intend to be. So let's move on to rapid fire and sort of transition to the end of the podcast.
Oh boy, okay.
Yeah, so I'll be asking you things. So rapid fire is a rapid fire. You need to be quick. It's not that yeah.
Am I supposed to answer in one word or what?
Yeah, it depends upon the question. So if I ask you like favorite 3 movies, so then 3 words. But if I ask you like top something, then top. So it's
Interesting.
basically 1 or 3 words. So
Okay.
I'm curious to this one. Favorite destination to travel?
Vietnam.
Yeah, and I have to go Vietnam now. So mountain or a beach person? You sort of
Beach.
answered this. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a wave tattooed here. So
Oh, I I'm sort of both guys, so I can't tell. Top 3 movies.
uh Top Gun, Three
Nice.
Idiots,
Okay.
Coach Carter. It's a basketball related. It's a sports movie.
Yeah, I've seen 3. All 3 I've seen. So nice choices. And 3 Idiots is common in a lot of guests that I've interviewed. So yeah,
It's amazing.
Amir Khan did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next one would be top 3 countries to visit if you have to choose.
Top, of course, Vietnam is one.
Yeah.
Spain,
Oh, interesting.
and another one would be Thailand.
Okay, so Vietnam, Spain, and then Thailand.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Favorite actor?
Favorite actor. Interesting. Oh, this is a
Brainstorm karo.
Denzel Washington.
So arrange this in the order that you prioritize it in your life. So the first one is relationship, money, spirituality, and then health.
Health,
Okay.
relationships,
Okay.
money, spirituality.
Cool. Now, lastly, the most important question. What is that one thing that you have liked about me or my podcast?
It didn't seem like a podcast.
Oh, so yeah, I take that as a compliment. That's a
It didn't
huge
seem
one.
like we're just chatting. It's I feel honestly it has been a conversation uh more than a recording or a podcast. And I think both of us have related to each other's stories so much that one thing has led to another. I mean, there hasn't been a
Exactly.
script, right? There haven't been questions or like there's no pre-read that you and I have been through this. Like it's just like
Yes,
I
it's a
am
very
saying
raw
one
thing.
thing, you have picked up that one thing and you've like started another thread, and then I've picked on that thread and have started another one which you picked on somewhere else. So I think that's what has been great. But you're doing a great job. Keep it up, Neeraj.
Yeah, the intention is to have this experience as intimate as possible, because when two people are very real with their life experiences, that's when it can be a real value addition to anybody who watches the thing. Everything happens, and everything happens for a reason. But it has been really, really, really amazing time to talk to
Likewise, brother.
Varun and to because I really feel like I'm just watching a future version of me or some alternate
That's a
alternate
compliment for
universe.
me, which is
Yes, absolutely.
I hope I've done something right for you to say that with happiness. So,
Yes. To end the conversation of the podcast is key. If you have to give one message to your younger self, like if you could go back in time or to somebody who's at that age, key, what will be the advice that you want to give or the message that you want to give?
interesting. I think I'll start with what message I would give to myself, because probably that would answer your second question also. I would just tell myself that uh, no matter what anyone tells you, that this is going to be good for your future, no one knows shit.
Nice.
You do what you are passionate about as long as you are happy doing it and you think that you can sustain that. Yes, that's where probably a little bit of guidance is required, because uh, maybe you like something really shitty that you're not supposed to do at that age. But I feel, do what you feel like doing and do multiple things and fail at multiple things if you're if that's not what you like, because that's what I've done. I did hotels. I didn't, I'm not saying I failed at it, but I did fail at a lot of things. I tried
Yes.
fitness coaching. I was so passionate about fitness, but at at the age of 30, I opened the book and I wanted to, like, I had to learn the entire anatomy of human body, and I said, fuck it, no, nahi hoega mujhse. Then I did voice acting. That didn't work out because I was not patient enough. But I think when you try so many things, it's easy for you to cancel out and tell yourself that at least I tried.
Yeah.
At least I tried and I failed, instead of getting to an age of 50 and saying that kash wo kiya hota. But now you're at the age of 50 with 20 different experiences that you knew that didn't work, but you tried,
Yes.
right? So try everything and don't listen to people who don't know shit.
It resonates with me a lot because a lot of time we fear failing and we never try. And and it's not the problem to fail. It's the point is that you not even know कि क्या तुम्हारे लिए वर्क करता है और क्या नहीं करता. But unless you do it, you might never know कि ये मेरे लिए है नहीं. And then instead of having that mental fatigue कि यार मैंने किया होता, and it might be
I
the
would
right
have been
choice
really
for me.
successful, yaar. Fitness coach banna tha mujhe, and I
हाँ.
didn't do it because of these pressures, that pressure.
Correct.
In
Correct.
reality,
Correct.
when you did it, you failed.
Yeah. 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 And ironic is that people come to me and say, यार sir, we have tried so many कि मैं तो कुछ कर ही नहीं सकता जिंदगी में. But literally they have not even tried 5 things, to be honest. And it's very easy to figure out because there are certain things that you like. Like we both like fitness, we both like communication, we both like speaking, right? And that's very obvious. वरना ये podcast इतना बढ़िया नहीं होता. And but once you have an affinity to something, it's very easy to start from it. So let's start and just go along the way. But it is a very beautiful message and a very positive one to end on. And I really wish and hope that you expand upon your podcast, because I really look forward to it, and I
wish
know
the
you
same for
have a
you.
lot. Yes, yes, yeah. Let's meet each other's podcast. I hope to see you in your podcast in a physical space, like having that banner, the human equation,
That'll
sort of
happen.
manifesting it.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that you're gonna do it because you're not gonna stop being on podcasting. So
Yeah.
yeah. So all the best. Thank you so much for being such an kind guy to come and giving me so much of your time after a
Thank you
hectic day.
for
It
having
means a
me.
lot to me. Thank you so much. So that's the end of it.
All the best.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.